Namaskar. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone to our 15th session on how to study the Bhagavad Gita. Today we will be discussing chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. So we finished Vishwarup Darshan in our last session, and now coming to Bhakti Yoga. This chapter starts with Arjun asking Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna, whether Saguna Bhakti is better or Nirguna Bhakti. So Nilesh, can you summarize this chapter and also kind of try to answer this question based on your expertise?
Okay, so just like Saguna Bhakti and Nirguna Bhakti in this particular chapter, I think last time we used the metaphor, I forgot, maybe a potato, and somebody likes potato in like a potato bhaji, aloo bhaji, somebody likes in batata vada, something like this. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, or actually entire Vedic literature, these different words like Saguna, Nirgun, Vyakta, Avyakta, Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyas, Yoga, Sankhya. Okay, basically they are just telling you different aspects of it, different aspects of the same thing. We can say the two sides of the same coin. That way, another way of looking at it. So in reality, at the ultimate stage, ultimate meaning not somewhere out there, in a complete comprehension, this is not either or. However, for a person who is in a sadhaka avastha, which is all of us, okay, it helps us, to tell us, hey, do this. This is easy. For example, in a Vishwarup Darshan or 10th chapter, which is a Vibhuti Yoga.
Vibhuti Yoga.
Vibhuti Yoga. What Krishna is saying is, if you understand the simple forms, the big one, if you can see the Stavaranam Himalaya, if you can see the steadiness among the big, huge mountain, the biggest mountain, you will able to see the steady aspect of the cosmos everywhere.
Right.
Okay. For example, it is lot easy. See, right now, in the context of that another Bollywoodia movie, Adipurush, there is this whole discussion, mostly wasteful discussion, I would say, going on. I would say people shouldn't watch it. This is just my personal, message to them. But what about, is the Ravan represented properly? Is the Hanuman represented properly? I mean, these discussions go on, and even there, I was reading something on a social media, and then somebody said, well, the Ravana should never be represented in the positive light or something of that effect. The reality remains that actually Ravana is the good attributes or the powerful attributes of Sreshta attributes of Ravan are indeed described in Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, but it is not very easy to digest, initially at least. Okay, but Bhagwan Ram is easy to digest. It's the same thing, but ultimately you have to also see the attributes of Ravana also. Okay, it has its own value. Okay, whatever they are, something like this. So summary of this chapter, let's see where it started. So after second chapter and after fifth chapter, 6, 7, 8 are yoga or dhyana, we can say. And then 9, 10, 11 are of a bhakti. Like, for example, with the Raja Yoga, and then 10 is a Vibhuti aspect, and the 11 is the Pratyaksha Darshan, the Vishwarup Darshan. So those are bhakti. Okay, bhakti related. So previous are dhyana related and bhakti related. That also you can see here. And now 12th chapter is bringing them together, if you want to understand it that way. So think of dhyana as a avyakta, and then bhakti as a vyakta. So that avyakta vyakta, okay, or yoga and sankhya, or karma yoga and karma sannyas, this basically is being discussed here again. Okay, so 12th chapter is bringing 6, 7, 8 and 9, 10, 11, the subjects discussed there together into this chapter. That is the summary of 12th chapter. And that's a bhakti yoga. This is a chapter on a bhakti yoga. So if it's a chapter on a bhakti yoga, really the message is you cannot separate out Sagun and Nirgun.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, it's easier to be a Sagun Bhakta to begin with, because you have a form to pray to. Like, it is easy to see Devatva in your mother, but it is not easy to see Devatva in Ravan.
Correct.
Though he may have some, and everyone will have some positive character, because the Deva, the Paramatma Ansha is in everyone, in the
Yeah.
entire Charachar. So in
Yeah.
that sense, there's one thing in the 12th shlok of this Bhakti Yoga, where Krishna says that Jnana is Shrestha than Abhyas. So he tells various ways to Arjun, you can achieve it by doing Abhyas or Dhyan or Jnana or Karma Phala Tyag. But then he gives a rating.
Hmm.
He says that Jnana is Shrestha than Abhyas, Dhyan is Shrestha than Jnana, but Karma Phala Tyag is the most important, or gives the highest ranking to Karma Phala Tyag.
Hmm.
Uh, as a way of practicing bhakti yoga. So what do you think? Why does he say that?
Okay. So the 12th, this is the 12th shlok you are saying from the 12th chapter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the 12th chapter, sorry, the 12th shlok, you can see this as like a pivot, like we can say the key or the balancing shloka. Think of this as like, when many of the mantras, Om, Reem, Srim, Klim, it has the word Klim.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that has to do, that Klim is like the hook, you can say the balancer, the key,
Yeah.
like the pin, the key, like the crucial one. What this is saying, and you actually gave it away. You may not have even realized it, Ashwini, when you said that. Just a previous one, before asking this question, when you were saying this is easier, like Sulabha, the Saguna Bhakti is a Sulabha, it's easier,
Easier.
right? In this shlok, when it is saying, okay, if you cannot take a Jnana Marga, just it says Jnana, Jnana about what? Jnana about basically practicing Raja Yoga, that's what the discussion is.
Self-realization also.
What is it?
Atma Jnana also. I mean,
Atma Dhyan, yeah, which is what Jnana is, what Atma Dhyan, and therefore Atma Dhyan is a Brahma Dhyan, like Pindite Brahmandi, that's like that. So Jnana, if that you cannot do, then at least do this. If that you cannot do, at least focus on Abhyas. If that you cannot do, focus on Karma Tyag, right? Karma sannyas. If not, then do at least the karma tyag. If you cannot get rid of the karma getting rid of karma in the sense of karma sannyas, which is what you see afterwards, karma tyag or karma sannyas. Then at least what you say, do the phala tyag. Okay, that is what it is saying, and that is what is been said. And then you are saying these are said that this is superior or this is better, like because of the word shreyo. In this particular shlok, the key, I would say, the key to understand that Shreyo is, it is better in what sense? It is better in the sense of easier. This, so Abhyas or whatever the second thing is easier than Jnana, that Abhyasa is easier than that, then Karma Sannyas or Karma Tyag is easier than Abhyas, and at least the karma, if you want to still do Karma, fine. Okay. But karma phala tyag is easier than that. And see, this is said, remember again, this is said, you can say this as the greatness of Bhagavad Gita, the highest level of kindness or krupa, karuna, that you can see. Just imagine a person who has a trouble like focusing on the jnana, and then the person cannot do it. So now you go to the next stage. Well, at least do this, at least do this, at least do this, at least do this. And this has been said before. So even when person cannot do it, you can see the kindness of Bhagavad Gita there, or the message. Please do something, start somewhere. Like Jnaneshwar saying, Hari Mukhe Mana, Punyachi Ganana Kona Kari, Devache Dwari Ubhakshana Vari, Tene Mukti Chari Sadhi Elya. See, what a promise. If you stand in front of a Devache Dwari, in the door of a Dev, meaning you can say Mandir, or in front of a Murti, anything you want to see, for a kshan, for a second, Tene Mukti Chari Sadhi, all four kinds of Mukti you achieve. This is the ultimate level of kindness, karuna, krupa that one can see. That is what Bhagavad Gita is showing. Start somewhere. It's like, in the practical language, you will say, for heaven's sake, start somewhere. Now, you see this into Samadama Dandabhed, or
even before, at many places, Krishna said, tapasvibhyo diko yogi, jnanebhyo pimoto diko, karmibhyascha diko yogi, tasmad yogi bhava. So do karma. So he is continuously saying, do your swadharma and do your karma. Possibly because he has so much compassion, at least do that, which is supposedly easiest,
Yeah. Also, I will say, just like our good friend Jeffrey Armstrong, he has translated Bhagavad Gita and, called a radical translation of Bhagavad Gita for a different reason, because he has gotten rid of the colonial words, when translating in English. I would say this is a radical approach of Krishna and therefore also Vyasadeva in the context of Indic literature. That is not to say the other places it's not there, but here it is very obvious. And what is that part? You will see, because again, the 12th chapter is of a Bhakti Yoga. In the context of Bhakti, or as a Bhakti Sampradaya or Bhakti-based Sampradaya, you will find usually people, Acharyas, whoever will hesitate. If you take, you said, okay, forget Ishwar or forget the Bhakti aspect. People say, what do you mean? I mean, this is all about Bhakti. But Krishna is willing to take that risk. Vyasa is willing to take that risk. He says, okay, just because the jnana is about the Bhakti only, or Abhyasa is also about understanding Bhakti. But he says, oh, you don't want to do that. You cannot do that. You don't feel attached to it. Your concentration doesn't happen. Fine. Go here. Just give the karma phala. And it also shows, beyond the karuna, it also shows their confidence. Because if person can part away, do something in the best possible way and still part away with the outcome of it, that is where, now eventually we will come to that, but that is where this is not ordinary thing to do something and not be attached to the fruit, the outcome of it. So it shows their karuna, but it also shows their confidence, because if somebody starts there, they will actually, the path that is been described in this verse, this 12th shloka, that it will happen. After the phalatyaga, the person will go to the karma tyaga, in a sense of karma sannyasa, not to say not doing the karma, but again, just be not attached. Then the abhyasa will continue, then the jnana will continue, and then person will be, that vasudevam sarvamiti samatma sudurlabha. But if suddenly somebody feels it overwhelming, this is Krishna's way, and therefore I'm saying it's a karuna or a krupa to get person to start somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, you're absolutely right, but even karma phala tyag is so difficult, because if you notice, from the 13th shlok till the end, he has described again what a sthita prajna is. All the signs of a sthita prajna is again described in each and every shlok. So he is trying to say that, to be even able to start with a karma phala tyag, you need to achieve the state of a sthita prajna. Because if you see, all the shloks after the 12th shlok in this chapter are again describing what a sthita prajna is, the signs of a sthita prajna, the way we got it in the second chapter, in the Sankhya Yoga. We have 18 shloks on sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhistasya keshava. So similarly, in this chapter also, he has dedicated a lot of shloks to how a sthita prajna should be. And I think that is because unless we achieve that state of a sthita prajna, we will not even be able to do the karma phala tyag. And ultimately, we need to move from Sagun to Nirgun. That is desirable, though extremely difficult, but at least start with a Sagun and go to Nirgun. So, what do you think? I mean, why has he described this again? So many shloks covering Sthita Prajna, or the signs of Sthita Prajna in this Bhakti Yoga.
Okay, so 2 points there. One, Saguna, Nirguna, and are we going, I mean, is it like one goes from Sagun to Nirgun, or one needs to go from Nirgun to Sagun? We'll come to that. That's the second point.
Second part, yeah.
Yeah, the first point is, these descriptions of Sthita Prajna appears to have been repeated here, like in this chapter.
Yes.
Well, is there a difference? Actually, there is no difference. That's why I said it's a different words, like bhakta ought to be a sthita prajna. Now, bhakta also has a kanishta, madhyama, uttama, and we see that in practice, and we see that in ourselves too, like, okay, we see that. For example, like just now we discussed the shreyo in that sense, or the krupa, so we see that ishware tad adineshu, balisheshu, dvishascha, these are the 4 kinds of bhakta, right? So we, prema, maitri, krupopeksha, so that's how we deal with the 4 types of bhakta that we deal with. So the reason we see this, actually these are bhakta lakshana, that the last 4, 5, 6 verses that you are seeing are bhakta lakshana. But as you said correctly, you said, hey, these are sthita prajna lakshana. I mean, those are given as a sthita prajna lakshana in the second chapter. Because at the end of the day meaning there is no difference. But somebody says, no, Sthita Prajna, no, that's not possible for me. I am just a bhakta. Now, you don't hear that all the time. Oh, you want to be bhakta? Okay. Hey, look at chapter 12, number 13 through number 20. Be like that. Oh, okay. Well, when the person starts doing it, they will realize that there is no difference. Therefore, we are saying whatever Krishna wanted to say is said at the end of the second chapter, the 18 shlokas of Sthita Prajna Lakshan. The person didn't get it. Like in sense, Arjun is representing us, you can say. And therefore, Arjun took Krishna on a tangent, with the Buddhi Yoga and a Karma Yoga. You are saying this, but asking me to do the Karma. Therefore, it has expanded. So, okay, so that doesn't work. How about the Dhyana? Oh, that doesn't work. How about the Vibhuti, focusing on how to focus? No, that doesn't work. Bhakti. I consider this as a ultimate Kripa. Okay. I mean, at that some level, simplifying it further is not possible. Like, therefore, karma tyaga. I see this, for example, the subject that I'm involved in, and I do many videos trying to simplify the matter. Now, what can happen is, in simplifying, people may misunderstand also. Okay. Or sometime even then they don't understand. And many times, if you don't tell them explicitly, then they think when they don't understand, it's like I'm not explaining it well. Now, partly that could be true. That's not to deny that. But which also means sometimes the person has to understand their limits. And which means you have to decide, just don't go for a jnana right away. Go for the next stage, abhyasa. Some people can't even read. Okay, then how about the karma tyag? Oh, that doesn't happen. How about the phalat tyag? So for example, people say, how can everyone wants to, like, say, for example, research like me, and nothing wrong with it. That will be so fabulous. But they don't understand what it takes. Okay, so therefore it is given exactly same message, but is being given in a different way. Otherwise, Sthita Prajna and Bhakta has no difference. Now, the mistake, I'll come to the second point quickly, but the mistake the person should not make is they say, I'm a Bhakta and therefore I'm a Sthita Prajna. No, this may be true, this may not be true. And how do you decide it? It's not like you don't need a stamp from Ashwini or Nilesh or somebody else. Just go to the 12th chapter, the last 13 through 20 verses, and see if this is true.
Yeah.
Okay, Tulya Ninda Stuti Mauni. Does that happen to you? Do you get affected when somebody criticizes
Yeah,
you?
right? We come across so many bhakta who don't even like us talking of any other translation of Bhagavad Gita other than theirs.
Correct. But that is a Kanishta Bhakta.
They have not even passed any test of these shlokas, in this chapter at all.
That's why they are a Kanishta Bhakta. But they are Bhakta still. I mean, they have some Shraddha, at least Shraddha in one individual, Shraddha in one translation. That's not a bad start. But what happens? Yeah, but see what happens. If somebody is not doing like them, they think this person is just not a Bhakta or whatever it is. Right? And it is said in that, it's said in the Bhagavad Puran, like, so that person only considers his or her Ishta Devata, his or her Guru. Only these two things they can understand. And the Guru says a certain translation, they may accept it. Anything else, they are incapable of accepting that this could be even better or equally good translation, if it's a translation. Or Ishta Devata, another's Ishta Devata, they cannot understand. They said, how can that person have that Ishta Devata? And quickly, I want to mention the last point, the Saguna Nirguna, the story of Lakshman, Ram, and Bharat is the best one.
Yes.
Okay. So when Ram left for Vanvas, Bharat was not there. Bharat was in Kekaya. And then Bharat comes back. And then Vasishtha and Vamadev, everyone says, now you must sit on the throne. And Bharat does not. Bharat starts in search of Ram. Now look at the Bharata's conviction in Rama's words. Okay. So when Bharat comes to Chitrakoot and Ram says, no, go back and rule in my place, Bharat does not argue because he's taking Rama's order. Now he leaves, but something comes to his mind. He comes back. And he doesn't even actually ask, but Rama gives his paduka. Now Bharat takes it back with him. He lives outside Ayodhya. So he's living very much like a Rama. Even Rama may be living in a little bit of luxury, possibly, but not Bharat. He lives outside Ayodhya and runs the Rajya for Ram. Now that is, if you think, that is a Nirguna Bhakti.
Nirguna Bhakti,
He's
yeah.
not next to him.
Yes.
Now think of the other scenario. Now Lakshman was there when Ram left for Vanvas. But if you see Rama's message to Lakshman, what does he say? You stay here. Father is old. You take care of this kingdom. And Lakshman says, no, I cannot breathe without you. Now that is a Saguna Bhakti. Okay. So Lakshman needs to be with Ram. Now Lakshman has to go through a lot of efforts, like, around that. So just let me complete. So now the question comes, who is the superior, Bharat or Lakshman? I mean, to ask such a question is basically to miss the point or pure stupidity. Okay, they both have to come together, and then we understand the Ram Panchayatam, so to say, then we understand the complete Rama.
Yeah, this reminded me of Uddhav and Arjun. Uddhav always with Krishna.
Very beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, and Arjun, though not with Krishna all the time, yet when Krishna passes away, he is like he cannot handle the world anymore. Such a great warrior.
Arjun cannot handle. Yeah.
And Uddhav, before Krishna passing away, Krishna gave him the jnana. So Uddhav could handle and started spreading Krishna's jnana even after Krishna left the body.
Correct. In fact, just to add to that, so now imagine that is 5525 BC, the flooding and destruction of Krishna's Dwarka. Along the same time, Krishna is also like completed his avatar, gone. Now he has left a message for Arjun. So Arjun comes to take the Yadavastriya with him per Krishna's instructions. And this Savyasachi, he has defeated great warriors, ordinary group of ahirs, defeat him and take away Yadustriya. That is what Mahabharata is telling us, and even other, right? So Arjuna suddenly has lost his thing. So that is like he's too attached to Saguna, you can say.
Yeah.
And what you said as a Uddhava has gone on a Tirtha Yatra. And he comes to know of the news of Krishna's passing away from somebody, some Rishi, and Uddhava is undisturbed. Okay, not because he's careless or he doesn't have emotion. He has achieved.
He's one. He's already one with Krishna.
Already one with Krishna in separation. In separation. Okay, so that's a Nirguna Bhakti. Yes. But Nirguna Bhakti in this case, you can say, came out powerful over Saguna. That is not the takeaway. The point is, Saguna, Nirguna, both are required.
So I think, Nirguna is more jnana based, my understanding, and also, from various translations like Vinobaji, or Nirguna is more jnana driven. It needs the compassion of Sagun. Sagun is more compassion, more with feelings, but it needs the poise of jnana. So both need each other ultimately to, achieve oneness with the Ishwar.
Right. And, so Sagun, so Saguna is like a Marathi Olava, like an emotional touch,
Yes.
Okay. And Nirguna is a hard understanding. Because of that jnana understanding, you remain indifferent. Doesn't mean you don't have an emotion. You don't necessarily have to show it, like.
But for Sagun, for Nirgun to be powerful, it needs the backing of Sagun. At some point in time, at the ultimate point where, if that oneness is required to be achieved. So Uddhav did have that Ulava, though he was more Nirgun, because Krishna, he was always with Krishna because he couldn't bear to be away from Krishna. But before Krishna passed away, he gave him the Atmagyan. He gave them the ultimate knowledge, and that's why he had that Olava as well as he could achieve that Nirgun Bhakti, I feel.
Right. Or you will see you will see Uddhava never, his conviction, his Shraddha in Krishna never wavers. Whereas in a case of Arjun, you see that it wavers, that's because it's an emotional thing. It's an emotional bonding. It goes, emotion sees ups and downs.
Yeah.
And that's, so we can stop on that, but you can add something and we can stop here.
No, that's it. I think at the ultimate level, there is no difference. Both are equally powerful as long as, certain criteria of Sita Prajna are required in whichever way, yena kena, abhyasa or dhyana, jnana or karma phalatyag, one needs to achieve, one bhakta needs to achieve oneness with the ultimate Ishwar.
Or in the practical language, the proof is in the pudding. So whether you want to call yourself Saguna Bhakta, Nirguna Bhakta, hey, I couldn't care less. I mean, you and me can say that. But look at number 13 through 20.
Yes.
Are you imbibing those qualities in you? Proof is in the pudding. Are those qualities visible? If not, you are not a bhakta. Then forget about whether you are a Saguna bhakta or Nirguna bhakta.
Yes.
Right.
All right. We can end here. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Jagdamba, Jagdamba, Jagdamba.